Once upon a time, there lived a very young beautiful girl known as Maria, the eldest daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Okoye. Mr. and Mrs. Okoye over the weekend threw a very large celebration party for their daughter Maria, who just got an admission into Crown Girls Boarding College. Mr. Okoye, who was a businessman, never had any formal education, neither did his wife. So Maria going to college brought a very big honor to their family, and everyone in their family was so ecstatic about it. As Maria stood by the dusty car park of Crown Girls Boarding College, clutching onto her luggages tightly that beautiful Sunday evening, her eyes darted nervously around the school environment as she stared curiously at the other new students who were relatively her age and all dressed in shiny white gowns at the school's admin block. Maria could feel her heart pounding so hard beneath her chest, as this was her first time of ever leaving her home since she was born, to go and live somewhere else away from her parents and her younger siblings. Maria was filled with an overwhelming feeling of excitement and fear of the unknown. Mr. and Mrs. Okoye, on the other hand, couldn't hold back their tears of joy as well as fear while advising and hugging Maria before bidding her farewell that day. With trembling hands, Maria made her way to her hostel with the other new girls, with the guide of their hostel matron. The hostel was very chaotic and loud. It was filled with young little girls from different homes who were unpacking their belongings and staking their claims on the best bunk beds they felt was suitable for them. Maria's assigned bunk bed was at the far corner of the hostel, a creaking metal bed with a tin mattress. Maria sat quietly on her bed, feeling utterly out of place and lost in her new environment. Around her were other girls who seemed to be friends already, as they were all chatting and laughing out so loudly. Maria felt so invisible, like a baby fish who just found itself in a sea of familiar faces. As Maria started to unpack her belongings, a cheerful voice broke through her silence and thoughts. "Hi, you must be new," said the voice. Maria looked up and saw a girl who was about her age, with a very wild grin and curious eyes staring at her. "Yes, I am new," said Maria softly. "My name is Vivian," said the cheerful girl. "I am your bunkmate." "You're lucky I don't snore much," said Vivian with a playful wink. Maria laughed and also introduced herself to Vivian. There was something about Vivian's cheerfulness that immediately put Maria at ease. As the days went by, Vivian took it upon herself to show Maria around their new school. She pointed out the dining hall, the assembly ground, and the notorious wicked senior zone, where no junior student who loved her life dared stroll to, or her name will become sorry. "Stick with me and you will be fine," said Vivian to Maria confidently. "The seniors in this school can be very mean, you know, but they are less likely to bother you if you're with someone who knows how to handle them," bragged Vivian. "But you're also new like me," said Maria to Vivian. "How and where did you now learn how to handle seniors from?" "Let's just say I have big sisters that are in the university who once passed through boarding school. You see, my parents were long done with childbearing before I arrived as a pleasant shock many years later," said Vivian with a wide grin as they both laughed. Vivian's playful nature helped Maria a lot in overcoming the homesickness she was feeling in her new unfamiliar surroundings. Maria was so grateful to have Vivian around her. Vivian was the funniest and smartest little girl of their age Maria had ever come across in her life. The way Vivian mimicked some wicked teachers, especially their mathematics teachers, cracked voice always left Maria laughing so loudly. Vivian also always had very clever solutions to almost everything. No senior student ever got away with punishing them, as Vivian would always step up with smart ideas that would end up leaving the senior students so confused and helpless afterwards. Not all days, however, were light-hearted, as Maria's homesickness sometimes gets to her so bad, especially when her provisions finishes or she misses her dining food. On days like that, Maria would cry softly into her pillow, thinking about her home and the food they had in abundance, while wondering how her younger siblings were faring without her at home. Vivian always noticed whenever Maria was down. She would crawl into Maria's bed, hug her tightly and comfort her. After which she would offer Maria some food from the cooler of food she stole from the dining hall and stored away for herself. She would then cheer Maria up with some exaggerated tales of what their lives would be like when they grow up and become very rich and famous women in future, and they would both laugh out so loudly. One fateful night, while all the girls in Blue Hostel were deep asleep, a loud noise and chaos suddenly erupted in the hostel, and all the girls started jumping off their beds and running towards a corner of the hostel while screaming, "Blood of Jesus!" It happened that one of the students in their hostel ran in from outside screaming and waking everybody up. She said she saw 3 ghosts laughing at her outside the hostel where she went to pee. Senior Bumi, their hostel captain, immediately led them all in a heated prayer session so as to cleanse the evil spirits and chase them far away from their hostel, after which the girls, who were all so terrified, started sleeping in pairs with each other out of fear. Vivian asked Maria, who was shaking so badly, to come sleep with her, and Maria was extremely grateful, as she was so afraid. Vivian held Maria tightly as they both breathed heavily on each other. Maria couldn't sleep. She was sobbing non-stop, wishing she could close her eyes and see herself at home, away from that terrifying dungeon her parents dumped her inside. To calm Maria down, Vivian reached for her lips and gave her a gentle kiss. Maria's lips was so soft. The kiss was fleeting and over before Maria could fully process what had just happened. Maria's eyes widened. Her heart that was already racing with fear raced even harder. "Why did you do that, Vivian?" she murmured softly. Vivian pulled back slightly, but didn't loosen her grip on Maria. "I'm sorry, Maria," whispered Vivian. "I didn't know how else to calm you down. You were shaking so badly, and you know I like you a lot. When you hurt, I hurt." Those words sank deep into Maria as she turned around and started looking into Vivian's eyes with a mixed feeling of shock, confusion, fear, and even slight joy. The fear she was feeling before soon started melting away like tiny vapors from her body. As she stared into Vivian's eyes, she leaned forward and kissed Vivian back. This time, the kiss was a little longer, less shocking and more natural, like it had been waiting to happen all along. Vivian's face lit up with a warm smile that Maria felt very deep in her own heart, and suddenly, everything about Crown Girls Boarding College felt better in Maria's heart. That was the beginning of their sneaky lesbian affair in Crown Girls Boarding College. Vivian and Maria's inseparable bond didn't go unnoticed by some other girls in their hostel. The girls, however, didn't know they were making out with each other, so they were safe, as Vivian, who was so smart and very clever, made sure they were never caught. Vivian was so possessive of Maria. She hated seeing Maria with other girls. She once beat up a girl mercilessly during night prep because she saw the girl talking to Maria for long. Maria didn't really like that side of Vivian, but in the end, she always found a way of coping with it, as Vivian was the only reason Crown Girls Boarding College felt like home away from home for her. On their birthdays, they would exchange small heartfelt gifts with each other. Vivian once saved up her pocket money to buy Maria a necklace and body spray on Valentine's Day, while Maria herself gave Vivian some chocolate bars and a hand-knitted pouch bag she made herself. Each gift they shared with each other was a token of their affection for each other, a secret they both guarded fiercely in a school environment where such behavior was frowned at and forbidden by the authorities. Their love grew in some stolen moments they shared during some remarkable school activities, like social night party days where they would dress in their best non-school attires and dance and party with the other students all night, whispering sweet nonsense to each other and laughing out loud. During exams, Maria, who was much more intelligent academically, always ensured she secretly assisted Vivian with her answers so that they will both pass well. Some days, they would skip their afternoon prep hours and sneak to their school stream, where they both loved to sit and have their happy chats and sometimes explore each other's body. The hardest part of every term for Vivian and Maria was during holidays, because saying goodbyes to each other was a very painful thing for them. The thought of being apart during the holidays was always very unbearable. Maria lived in Lagos with her parents, while Vivian lived in Warri with her parents. Maria and Vivian's friendship stood tall till they got to SS3. On their graduation day, while many other SS3 students were so excited to finally be leaving secondary school, Vivian and Maria were so scared and very sad. They both cried endlessly that night. "I don't want to leave," said Vivian to Maria with a broken voice, while they packed up their suitcases. "Me neither," said Maria, as she wiped the tears on Vivian's face. "Promise me that no matter where life takes us, we will always have each other's backs," said Vivian to Maria, as she leaned forward and kissed Maria. "I promise," said Maria. That night, they held each other so close while they slept. When morning came, Vivian and Maria held hands until the last possible moments, their hearts breaking so bad as they walked in opposite directions with their luggages, headed for their various homes with their parents.